Hello there, it's me, Stephen Thomas with Reports on Housing, and yeah, it's the season 6, episode 1 for the Housing Debrief. That's right, we started this in 2020, and here we are, 2025. Our company's Reports on Housing, it's your local real estate snapshot, and I personally have been doing this now for 20 years. I actually graduated from the University of California, San Diego. That's right there in La Jolla, with a quantitative economics and decision sciences major. And actually represented buyers and sellers, helped run a brokerage, and now for 20 years have been working with Reports on Housing and just driving home statistics and data. And we deliver housing reports for all the Southern California counties, as well as the Bay Area, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. So added quite a few markets within the last year. So we've been busy talking about the various housing markets in all these different counties. And we ventured off into YouTube land back in 2020 when all of a sudden we had the pandemic, COVID-19 hit. And when COVID-19 hit, there were a lot of people saying a lot of funky things about what the housing market was going to do. And it was going to be just like the Great Recession and values were going to come down. Now, keep in mind, values have only come down twice since World War II. They went down 1% back in the 1990s, 1991, and that was only because of Southern California and the savings and loan scandal. And then, of course, they came down during the Great Recession. That's not what values do. Values don't typically go down. As a matter of fact, we had high rates in the 1980s, the beginning of the 1980s, and values still went up on an annual basis. So what we're trying to do in our reports as well as in YouTube is cut through all the noise. Cut through all the noise. At the end of the day, there's way too much noise. If you have a narrative that you're thinking about, crashes, short sales, foreclosures, all that stuff, well, that there are people that devote their livelihoods to just bringing you that. However, they don't have any kind of a pedigree where they don't come to the table with a economic background. It's more of a gut feeling, and they talk about it and they look at various data points and they talk about it as if it's going to happen, but have been wrong for a very, very long time. Yet they have increased a following, and their following gets larger and larger because that's what a lot of they're preying on people, that negativity sells. And a lot of people want to get into the housing market. So what's the way to get in? Well, if we have some sort of a housing crash, prices to plunge, and that's what drives these channels. So at the end of the day, just because they're wearing a suit like myself, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an economics background or that they understand linear regression and all the little bits and pieces that go into our modeling of the housing economics and understanding where we're going based upon historical figures, as well as new stuff that we're dealing with the pandemic and a whole bunch of different economic numbers that we haven't seen in quite some time. So there are a lot of people that devote their livelihoods to talking about it's going to be disaster for housing. It's going to be the perfect storm, is what we've heard. That we're going to get values that absolutely plunge. We'll have another financial crisis. There will be lots of bank owned and foreclosures, and the housing is in a bubble. And that's just not true. It's not true because you have to follow all the evidence. And economics brings us a lot of crumbs, a lot of evidence that will point us in the right direction if we know how to read all those crumbs, all the data, all the statistics. So no, there's not going to be that housing crash that so many people have been hoping for. Instead, what everybody should be hoping for is for rates to eventually come down. There's power and strength to data, and that's what we rely on all the time. That's what we do. We're constantly bringing the best data and statistics to properly illustrate exactly where we are. And my junk food of choice is data, statistics, economics. I cannot get enough of it. That is what I do. I live and breathe all the economic figures and data and stats in the background. I just cannot get enough of it. And we're in the expectations setting business, and that's what we do. So this episode is called A Slower Start, More Homes. And we're going to explain what's going on this year, and we're going to compare it to last year, because that's what we remember most recently is how last year unfolded. So we are following this normal seasonal pattern, and that is spring is the best. It is home to the most number of pending sales, and a lot of homes come on the market during the springtime. A lot of homeowners want to come on in May or April, right around that time. It's April, May, and June we see the biggest increase in number of homes that are coming on the market. Then second fiddle is summer, then we have the fall, and then finally we have the winter market, which is one of the slowest seasons. But the slowest season is the holidays, and the holidays last from the second week of November, right before Thanksgiving, all the way through the second week of January until New Year's resolutions are done, and they're no longer want to go to the gym. Instead, they want to go look for a house. That happens around the second week of January. And that's where we're at right now. We're towards the end of January, so we're into the winter market at this point. And what happens during the winter market is we have supply does not change much. So at the very beginning of the year, we had this weird spike in supply, and that's not normal, but that had to do with extra homes coming on the market. But supply does not change much. It's going up slightly this year, and it went up slightly last year during the winter market. And then at the same time, demand surges, and then a lot of everybody in real estate says, "Oh my gosh, it's Super Bowl. It's time to come on the market." And that's not exactly the spiciest, the best time of the year. It's actually a couple weeks later. If I was to come on, it would be Valentine's Day, February 14th. And then we typically get the speediest, fastest part of the market right after that, right around the first week of March. And then it starts to slow a little bit from there because we get more homes that come on the market. And people would think April and May, but those are months where we see a lot more homes coming on the market. So, and demand kind of stays the same as to where it was in March. So if you have more homes coming on the market, it feels a little more sluggish. So this is leading up right now to the busiest time of the year, and we arrived there right at this right during about the first week of March. And so we're going to talk about the speed of the market. How fast is the market going right now? What is the speed in the various areas? And that brings us to the speed of the market in Southern California. It's at 98 days. That's up 36 days compared to last year at the same time period. And last year is that purple line. The blue line is 2023. The green line is the 3-year average prior to COVID. Prior to the pandemic, 2017, 18, 19. And that gold line was 2022 when rates started off the year really low, and then slowly but surely rates rise faster and faster towards the end of the year, and then all of a sudden we saw the market really, really slow. And you can see in Southern California it had an expected market time of the low 20s, and there were some markets that were in the teens in 2022. So very fast market. The lower the number, the faster the market. And today in SoCal, it's at 98 days when it was 36 days faster last year. So it feels a little bit more sluggish. And that's the truth with all markets. You see the Bay Area is up 22 days compared to last year. That's the red line where it's at compared to the purple line last year. Today it's at a 91-day expected market time. And then if you look to see where it is in Vegas, Clark County, it's at 111-day expected market time versus last year it was 46 days faster. That's the purple line. I know it looks very close to that blue line, but that was 2023. Last year was a very, very busy year for Vegas. So at the start of the year, and you could see the difference between last year and this year, and you could see that yellow line once again at a 20-day expected market time, so very fast at the start of 2022. And here we are in Phoenix, Maricopa, and it's at 116 days and is way slower than last year. 41 days slower than last year at this time. That's the purple line. And you can see how even elevated purple was compared to the blue, which was 2023. And then you could see that yellow gold line at the bottom. It was below 20 days back during this time period. So very, very hot back then. Compare that to today, and it's at 116 days. You have to set your expectations based upon that. So what makes up this speed of the market, this expected market time statistic that we talk about all the time? So let's get into that. But first, I wanted to thank our sponsor. And our sponsor is Mike Grambow with JMJ Financial. And you can reach him at 714-794-7668. And he's a mortgage advisor with JMJ Financial, the Thibodeau and Morel Group. And the Thibodeau and Morel Group brought the 2025 Market Insights with Logan Motoshami with Housing Wire and myself. And they want to thank everyone who came to their Packed House, their Market Insights event in collaboration with Housing Wire. Their lead analyst, Logan Motoshami, one of my friends, and your very own Orange County housing analyst, me, Stephen Thomas, thoroughly examined why housing remains resilient. Logan and I were gracious enough to share our slides with the Thibodeau and Morel Group, and they are sharing them with you on their private Facebook page. If you missed the event, this is your chance to see the slides and main talking points of the two presenters, myself and Logan. Please join their Facebook group, California Broker, Lender, and Investor Connect, for a copy of the slides from their event and future events and presentations. They want to thank you again, and they look forward to connecting with you and making a difference in your business. And you can, Mike Grambow is all about temporary solutions for long-term goals. He works diligently with your clients to make a difference and empower your clients to be able to purchase a home. So you can work with Mike Grambow at JMJ Financial, the Thibodeau and Morel Group, and he's a mortgage advisor there. His cell is 714-794-7668. That's 714-794-7668. And now back to the program and the speed of the market, that expected market time that we're talking about. What makes up that statistic? It is supply and demand. And then we do our math behind the scenes and come up with what the speed is based upon the number of available homes and a snapshot of the last 30 days of pending sales activity. From pending sales activity and the number of available homes and the changes in the mix, you could see that the speed of the market. If you all of a sudden have no homes on the market and there's a lot of demand, that's going to be a really speedy market, aka the COVID years. And if you have a lot more homes on the market, tons of homes and very little demand, like during the Great Recession, you actually have a very, very slow market. But that's not where we're at right now. We're at a little bit more of a balanced market. Matter of fact, it's been leaning a little bit in the seller's behalf across the United States, which is why even though we have these high rates, we still see that values have been going up, and that's because there's still a limited supply across the United States. And so we're going to get into supply and what it looks like locally. And supply in Southern California is at 28,912 homes. And that is up 43% compared to last year at this time, and that is that purple line. And you could see that, so this is getting close to the 3-year average prior to COVID. And then as far as the Bay Area is concerned, you can also see here that it's spiking up higher and is at 6,128 homes. That's 19% more than last year at this time, almost an additional 1,000 homes. So you're kind of getting it, that there's a lot more homes compared to last year at this time. And we're going to match that up to where demand's at. So there's extra homes in Vegas too. You're not looking at, last year's not that blue line. It's going to pass through that blue line, which was 2023, and remain even elevated compared to that year because the inventory was falling in 2023. Compare that to the purple line, and there are an extra almost 2,500 homes. That's an extra 49% higher than last year at this time. And the Maricopa, that's the Phoenix market, it's at 17,020. That's up 42%, or up a little over 5,000 extra for sale signs compared to last year, the purple line. And so now we've seen where the supply of available homes is at. So what does demand look like? What's that snapshot of the last 30 days of pending sales activity? And very, very similar in all markets year over year. So we have extra homes on the market and very, very similar demand to last year. So if you have extra home, that's more seller competition. That's a little bit more sluggish. You have to be better on price. And in Southern California, just under 88,900 pending sales for the last 30 days. and that is down 7% or down 709 compared to last year at this time. And as far as the Bay Area is concerned, it is at 2,030, which pending sales, very close to last year. It's 196 fewer than the purple line. It almost looks like it's on top of each other, but it is slightly less than that purple line. That's down 9% compared to last year at the same time frame. And then if you look at Vegas, Clark County, that's at 1993. That's 12% less than the purple line last year, 282. So actually pending sales activity demands a little less than last year. And that has a lot to do with where rates are at, because we've been stuck above 7% since December 18th when the Fed met in December. Ever since then, that Fed speech, we've had interest rates that elevated above 7% and have remained there. It's just right there, slightly above it. But it just takes one economic data point that shows a little weakness in the economy to bring us down under 7% and to juice up the market a little bit. So we'll have to stay tuned to see if that even occurs. And then we have Phoenix, Maricopa, and it too is down 8%, down 400 pending sales compared to the purple line. Very close to last year, just a little bit less, and not quite 4,400 pending sales compared to last year. And you can see that gold line and all of those charts were a lot higher than where we're at right now, and that was prior to rates really screaming higher. They started to go up at the start of the year, but they really started to escalate as the year progressed, and demand totally slowed the second half of the year in all markets. And so you're wondering, okay, where are we going from here, Stephen? What's going on? Can you please look into your economic, your housing analyst, your crystal ball, and tell us what's going on? That's what everybody wants to know. And it's a bit murky when we're looking into that ball, and that's because we don't know where rates ultimately are going to go, but we have a pretty good idea at this point. And that's where we're going to be right at that 7%. If we're stuck above 7%, that's kind of what we're going to see, is that sluggishness very similar to last year and demand very similar to last year. And that's kind of what we're seeing currently right now. And so where are we going to go right here? You're going to see this is Southern California, but these are what all markets are going to kind of do. It's going to come down, and what it's going to do is going to come down, and the fastest point in the market occurs between March and the end of April. That's the fastest point of the market, and recently in a lot of markets it's the first like week or two in March. And so where we're going to go from here, as you can see, it's going to go down, it's going to get hotter, but it's then going to remain at the same level about mid-February on. And when it stays at that same level, if you look at it compared to last year, that's the purple line, it is elevated compared to last year, which means if you're planning on coming on the market now or anytime during the springtime, chances are where we're going to be in the marketplace, we're going to be a lot more elevated as far as the expected market time. Demand will be similar year over year. It's just there's going to be more homes competing against each other. One of the issues that we're seeing is there were the fewest number of homes that came on the market in 2023 because rates all of a sudden spiked and a whole bunch of people stayed at home and didn't list their homes. Then in 2024, we started to see more homes come on the market, still less than what is normal, but we saw fewer homes come on the market. And we saw more homes come on the market last year compared to 2023. And those extra homes actually accumulated on the market because it was very, very similar demand year over year. And then this year, what we're seeing is even more homes come on the market, even compared to last year. So those extra homes, they're still very, very similar demand year over year, 2024, 2023, and now it looks 2025, very similar demand curves. And if you have those very similar demand curves, what's going to happen is we're going to see a little bit more sluggishness out there, more seller competition, and the market will be a little bit slower. So that's what we can expect going from here. So you cannot end up overpriced. I cannot stress enough. It is so important that you price things right. You can actually fly off the market if you're priced right and your property looks beautiful and it has all the bells and whistles, looks fresh, move-in ready. Those are the homes that still fly off the market, but they still have to be priced right. Now, the properties that don't price it right, overpriced, they sit. The properties that need a lot of work and the price isn't isn't that catchy with all the work that needs to be done, those sit and they accumulate. And that's what we see over time, this accumulation of inventory. That's what occurred last year. That's what will continue to occur as long as rates remain where they're at right now. So go to reportsonhousing.com to subscribe. And the latest one that we had is called Bizarre Market Movement, and all markets have it now. Next week, we're going to start with along the coast in Orange County and San Diego and Los Angeles and Ventura. They're all going to get the next one, and we're going to be talking about the winter market and what to expect as it actually heats up. The market from here will heat up because we're in the winter market. So if you'd like to subscribe and aren't a subscriber, you can go to reportsonhousing.com and utilize the coupon code JAN25. But realize that our it's $15 per month or $150 per year. That's going to change in April because we've been at the same level since 2017, and it's going to go up to $20 per month, $200 per year. So you can lock in that $150 by subscribing today. So thank you again for joining us for our first Housing Debrief of the year, Season 6, Episode 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a fantastic finish to your week. We will see you on the other side with Episode 2, Season 6. Thank you much, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. We will see you on the other side.